Thank you for coming to this press conference focused on constitutional carry. There are 5 bills as part of this package, and different ones will be speaking on different bills. But I just want to give general comments about this constitutional carry package. Over the past 2 decades, there has been a sharp increase in the number of CPL applications across our nation. Clearly, government overreach is encouraging Americans to secure their Second Amendment rights to carry a firearm and to utilize that firearm, especially for self-defense. Michigan could well become the 30th state to eliminate the requirement to obtain a CPL. Constitutional carry states tend to experience a reduction in violent crime following the enactment of these constitutional carry laws. Many counties in Michigan have imposed additional burdens on law-abiding citizens who desire to bear arms, such as CPL application processing periods and many service charges. This bill package would eliminate the requirement to obtain a CPL for concealed carry, but Michiganders may still acquire a CPL to, for example, ensure they can legally go carry across state lines. You know, the idea of reciprocity. These bills promote our constitutional right to self-defense, and they also promote the idea of reining in government overreach. Republicans from every corner of our state support these common sense laws. House Bills 5653 through 5657 build upon firearm freedom. Legislation passed out of Michigan House this term, including HB 4284 by Rep. Paquette to lower CPL fees, and HBs 4481 through 4483 by Reps. DeBoyer, Hoadley, and Aragona to require the Attorney General to establish and maintain a concealed pistol license reciprocity website. So what about next steps? Considering future opportunities to rein in government overreach and restore the Second Amendment in Michigan, this legislative package focuses in strongly on that. I'm excited about the opportunity to work with Chair Leitner and the House Judiciary Committee to advance this bill package to the House floor and further spotlight our efforts. So I encourage Michiganders to reach out to their elected representatives in support of firearm freedom legislation, like these bills, 5653 through 5657. These bills will focus on our constitutional rights, self-defense and safety, removing of financial barriers, eliminating bias, and also providing deterrence for those who would somehow try to upset our good system. These bills have been widely adopted across 29 different states already, and we are seeing more and more people carrying for personal protection. These bills will help lower crime rates, and we will just build upon the idea that this is America's first freedom. So constitutional carry for the state of Michigan.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. The term constitutional carry speaks for itself. I believe that this right already exists to every American citizen, every law-abiding American citizen through our Constitution. As Joe mentioned, 29 states already have constitutional carry. Michigan would be the 30th. Just as a bit of information, carrying without a permit is a 5-year felony in Michigan. In California, it's a misdemeanor. So if a couple was out shopping and the husband was dropped off at Lowe's, let's say, and his wife says, I'm going to go get lunch, and his CPL is in the car, she's pulled over, she's now guilty of a 5-year felony for carrying without a permit. So some of these laws are really harmful to self-defense. I believe that the right to self-defense includes the right to carry a firearm. When we exercise other First Amendment rights, like our right to speak, we do not have to get a permit or permission from the government to speak. When we exercise our right to worship, we do not have to go get a permit or permission to go worship, although Governor Whitmer did try to infringe on that right for quite a while. It's telling us we could not go worship. So I'm here today to stand with my fellow colleagues and state that the right to self-defense and the right to bear arms is the ultimate right in America. It protects your life, and I'm here to say that I support this entire package. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is actually rather self-evident. One of the obvious and most important rights we have is the protection of our lives, the safety and security of our lives. In fact, that old saying, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And for the government of the state of Michigan to tell us that we have to be qualified under the guise of their rules in order to protect ourselves is a far cry from what the Constitution provides for us. You'll hear the same old arguments about what we heard, in fact, when Michigan became a shall issue state, which was, well, this is going to turn into the wild, wild west. And the reality is, you can make those arguments all you want, but the data does not support that. The data says when law-abiding citizens have the right to protect themselves, crime goes down. So I'm happy to support these bills in their entirety. I'm happy to get them onto the House floor. Hope we can get them off of the House floor and moved over into the Senate, because it's a very clear statement. The data is irrefutable. The more law-abiding citizens that have the ability to protect themselves, the less likely them becoming a victim of crime is. So I appreciate all the members that are up here in support and all the other members that are signed on to these bills. So thank you, guys.
Good morning, everybody. As a reminder, it's already enshrined in the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. In the Michigan Constitution, Section 1, Article 6, the right to bear arms to defend themselves and the state of Michigan. A permit process violates that by taking what's already an enshrined right and making it a revocable privilege for sale by the government. Constitutional carry simply codifies what's already a God-given right in both the federal and the state constitutions. And I stand strongly with my colleagues here to, again, reaffirm those rights in both of those constitutions and get us back to common sense. The reality is, to piggyback on what has already been said here, is the right to carry deters crime. We don't get a lot of coverage of that, but we've seen plenty of evidence that that be the truth. In the 29 other states, I would argue that crime rates, particularly violent crime rates, have reduced in those states. 29 states, that's the majority. Michigan needs to join those states, be number 30. And again, this doesn't get rid of the permit process for carrying in those states that haven't already adopted constitutional carry. So again, I leave that as strong support for all of our rights that are enshrined in our Constitution. And there was a reason why the Second Amendment affords all the other ones in the Constitution. So thank you, everybody, for coming out this morning. We look forward to answering any questions. Thank you.
So I want to just say thanks to those who have sponsored these bills, to Rep. Smith, who was not able to be here, Rep. Hoadley, Rep. DeBoyer, and Rep. DeSena, and I'm Rep. Joseph Fox, and we just stand for something that is very common sense, is a very real need in our nation as we face enemies within and enemies without. Thank you very much for coming today.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
So can you just functionally explain what these bills will do that we don't have, that we can't do right now?
Functionally, it will, number one, eliminate the cost of having to get a permit, a CPL. It will also give opportunity for a person to carry on their hip.
Open,
Open carry, yes.
without a permit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then I think I may have covered that
Yeah.
in my comments there, is it eliminates the state to sell back what's already a constitutional right. And what this package will do is allow the concealed carry and also the misconceptions of, or confusion, if you will, with open carry to concealed carry, and the gotcha laws, or the coat tax, if you will, as with open carry is already allowed in this state by any individual over the age of 18 that has the legal ability to already carry a firearm through federal background checks to purchase a firearm. Now, what I say by that coat tax is even in open carry, you throw a coat on over that, you're now in jeopardy of being a 5-year felon. This bill package eliminates that, puts clarity in the law, and enshrines our constitutional right. I think I already laid that out with the U.S. Constitution and in the state constitution. Those have been explicitly clear.
So it gets rid of the permitting process for carrying concealed?
Correct.
The requirement that it gets rid of the requirement that you get a concealed pistol license. It doesn't eliminate the option of a concealed pistol
Which you would
license.
still want to have if you were going to travel in other states for reciprocity.
Okay, so I can still go to the county clerk's office and get a
Absolutely.
concealed carry?
A-
Okay.
Absolutely. That is still
Yes.
a privilege provided by the state of Michigan to be able to do that. But I will say, and I think we're seeing more popularity across other states, being that Michigan hopefully will be that 30th state, that many of those states will already offer that, even through a constitutional carry process. But the states that do not, to your point, yes, you would still want to carry a concealed carry permit to keep yourself in violation of those laws in those states. Yes, ma'am.
Just some curiosity about, do these bills have any impact on the safety classes you're typically supposed to take when it comes to, a CPL?
Well, to get the CPL, no. But with constitutional carry, yes, it would eliminate those, I guess, requirements. However, it also eliminates the cost of completing those requirements as well. And I'll also add that most gun owners, and I will say this point, law-abiding gun owners are already trained in their firearm. They enjoy going to the range. They take part in the shooting sports. So these aren't just willy-nilly use of a firearm. These are people that have already lived the gun culture in the United States.
But it wouldn't require any kind of safety classes, or would it eliminate that?
It would eliminate the requirement in the constitutional carry regard. However, back to if you do have a CPL, you still have to go through the requirements to obtain a CPL, meaning the training requirements for the renewals of that, and I'll add the cost associated with that as well.
Last year, this was put through the Senate, a similar set of bills. They didn't seem to go very far. Are you confident that they can pass the House and then the Senate now?
Unfortunately, I'm not very confident of that. However, with more education through our local communities as to the value of gun ownership and defense with those firearms, I think we can move the needle and we can get it closer to that. Because I've got to circle back. This is already enshrined in the state and federal constitutions. We shouldn't even have to have this argument today.
Where do you think the public is on these bills?
I think in the state of Michigan, I think most would overwhelmingly agree to that, particularly if we get around the rhetoric that's being put out there by both the media and the anti-gun groups.
The polling I've seen doesn't seem like this would be a supportive, that this would be an over 50% issue.
Well, yeah, back to the polling of whom? Or by
Registered
whom?
voters, polling firms.
I'm sorry. Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you again,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.